Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Talking Dragons tonight, the RPG show where we talk about stuff because we don't really know what we're doing.
Yes, and definitely not the stuff that is not recorded. That's not sanctioned for.
Yeah.
Nope, don't do it. Don't. Yes, okay.
So, I'm joined here by two of my favorite guests.
Hey.
By favorite, I mean first time, and Anna's probably the last time.
Oh, ouch.
What is a kokoro?
Well, anyway,
wait,
those of you who know,
was that a threat?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, am I dying tonight?
Maybe roll a d20.
Okay.
Doesn't really matter. Come here. Hey, Anna, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, thank you.
Your car okay?
You're-
Alignment great?
Oh, absolutely.
Tire pressure
You know
rate.
you're looking so good today. Happy New Year, by the way. You're looking real.
Steering wheel not a little
Just,
vibration-wise.
I'm very
How about you,
happy
Faiz?
with
Did
my
you get
life,
on
yeah.
a train or was it a car?
Yes. Thankfully, the traffic here is nice.
I was just talking about how everyone, how I almost ran over a dragon today.
Yeah. Let's hope that's the only thing you run over today. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's great. That's awesome.
Sure.
Hey guys, we're here to talk about one-shots again.
Yay.
It is 2020.
Yes, it is.
Insert 2020 joke right here.
You roll.
Sorry.
20.
What was Hazik's joke the other day?
Oh, I can't see.
Oh yeah. It's like
Yeah,
oh,
hindsight
you know,
2020.
yeah, exactly. You know how this year's gonna end. You know, we've been doing such a great work last year. You know, it's the beginning of the year, New Year coming. Do you know where the store's gonna be going?
I think we have a few directions.
Oh yeah.
And for some people that sounds worrying because we don't have a clear direction.
It's okay. I mean, I can't see. I don't have 20/20 vision.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Well, as you know, I also have.
I stole that joke, but I thought it
Yeah.
appropriate.
There you go.
Yes, but
Very appropriate.
but very much real though. Actual question.
Hence the last joke of 2020.
Turn it.
Okay. Yes.
For now. For now.
It's out of the system.
Okay.
right?
out of the
Okay.
system.
We
But
gotta.
realistic question though.
Yeah, we're actually here to talk about one shots. In review, we have had a very successful year last year. I think. While Magic Store opened up, D&D really took off. I would like to think, and I have a few statistics here. We don't have crit roll stats, but we have wild magic stats.
Okay.
I did my homework yesterday, and we did a lot of one shots.
Good.
Do you
How
wanna
many?
have a guess?
Let's say like 3 a month, so like 39.
We're close. We're close. Yeah, because since we started somewhere in April, May,
Yeah.
we actually did 32 one shots. 32
Wow.
one shots. Not all of them were on YouTube, by the way. So if you feel like that number's wrong, you're wrong. And please let us know which ones. you
Audience,
missed out.
he did not just call you wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
Called you not right.
Come on, man.
Yeah. That's
Uh,
yeah.
Do you want me to bring out the deer again? Anyway. There you go. Okay, don't leave me in silence.
Okay. Yeah. So.
You know what happens if I'm.
Yeah, it's gonna.
There you go.
Let's not talk about
And
it.
a little bit of trivia here. The reason why I brought in Faiz is because he's actually played the most one shots.
Even I don't know actually.
I did not realize that, but I can see that. You know?
Yeah, I actually didn't realize it until I kept seeing his name a lot, and I thought it was gonna be Jihan, but he's been featured in the first one shots, which was Daughter of the Sea. He was there for Sid's one shot, Low Crater, Farah's one shot, Dead by Midnight,
Yep.
Pages of Despair by Safi, Muppets one shot. You were there.
Yep.
I'm not sure about Turnabout Tables now.
Ooh, that's a
Yeah.
funny one. I don't think.
I don't remember that one.
I don't think he knew about Wild Magic during that time.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
But he was definitely there for Bombastic Party
Yeah.
battles,
Hey.
Yeah.
and you were there for the last thing that he ran.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
I mean that thing, that game.
Say it. Say it. Come on, say it. You can't deny it. Say it.
Dark side. All right.
it's
So.
the other side. But of
The
course,
better side.
Anas, you've also DM'd for us a couple of times.
Sure.
I think I can only count 3.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
I feel like that's accurate. Yeah.
So there's Turnabout Tables,
Yep.
Muppets Say I, and
Yep.
the last one.
And yes, that
Yeah.
last one.
Sorry, I really don't remember. I didn't make an effort to actually remember the name.
Sure.
But it was
I
the
want to-
Pathfinder one.
I want to go home alive tonight. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
whatever you want, boss. Yeah, good.
But Turnabout Tables was the one that got away.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
the one that
it-
wasn't. Oh yeah, because it was the first time we tried the stream. Right. Yeah, I remember that.
And we all have to thank ZZ for that. So that's why we brought in people like Finn and Foote who are.
More, yeah. Is
Oh,
there?
oh wow! It's an honest mistake. I don't
Shout out
know.
to
I don't
ZZ
know how
if you're
none of
listening.
I don't know how none of these things work. You know, it's all technical
It's,
magic.
it's
mumbo
magic.
jumbo to
Yeah,
me.
it's for us. Yeah,
It was horrible. It was horrible. First thing we found out that you can save videos on Twitch, but we didn't. And you can record while you're streaming, but we didn't.
Well,
And-
on the plus side, it meant that the first time I had to DM a one shot for like just as a one shot,
Yeah.
it wasn't recorded, and so all of my mistakes were not on record.
But then, with your mistakes, you also had some of the best roleplay you've ever done on the one shot.
that is true. Because I saw when you were doing your whole shebang, it's like you were acting it out because you were not. There was no camera. Kinda.
Yeah, again, it's because like deep in my heart, I knew the camera wasn't running. That's my explanation of why that was so good that one time, and definitely not anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was,
I mean, the whole thing with the king crying.
oh yeah.
Like, people were, like, sobbing all day long. And, like,
Oh yeah.
man, I remember at the end of that, everyone was like, man, I can't wait to go home and watch this.
And where is it?
And you can all watch it in your minds,
Son of a bitch.
in your hearts. It's fine. The king will be with you.
But you definitely need to play that again.
Turnabout tables?
Yeah.
Really?
I think you should play that again. And maybe it'll turn out different next time.
Ah,
Or
true.
something.
I mean, yeah. I mean, in that case, there were like different archdevils that you could have had to defend, and different like NPCs. Because I designed it
Oh.
after Ace Attorney anyway.
Yeah.
But
Can
yeah,
you, wait, before our viewers, like, can you give like a brief explanation? What is this turnabout?
Turnabout Tables?
Yes.
Turnabout Tables was basically Ace Attorney in hell.
Yeah.
And Ace Attorney is basically a Japanese lawyer who never loses.
Yeah.
And a lawyer who never loses doesn't exist.
This is correct.
True.
So, there you go.
Yeah.
That's basic Turnabout
Yeah,
Tables.
Just a brief
Yeah,
exposition
um,
on it. Yeah.
But what made it so great was probably the fact that it was like pure roleplay.
Yeah.
true.
Even the encounter itself wasn't actually a total
Yeah,
battle.
because I felt like everybody whenever people see like level 20 in a one shot, they immediately imagine like, okay, I've got to boost my stat up or whatever.
Yeah.
And like that wasn't the case. The only reason was I needed your health to be high enough that you wouldn't die. That's it. That's just it.
What about you, Faiz? Like, so you've never DM'd one, but you will.
I will try
Yes.
my best.
Welcome to the
Yeah.
DMs of Wild Magic.
Yes, I have yet to be blooded. Yes, but soon.
Blooded.
As in DM.
Yes. Yeah. You don't forget you have to cut your
Yeah.
wrist, sign the contract.
Your marks is still there, kind of the
Yeah,
cut.
I think it's healed now. The makeup helps.
Yeah, I had to, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
before we talk about your DM skills or lack of thereof,
That's true.
let's get into your playing styles. Like you've been in a lot, so you've even forgotten that you've been in some of them.
Yes, I would say.
So I think it's a little easy to say which one was the best one.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
Wow,
So
wow.
which one was the most forgettable one?
that.
Ooh.
I forget.
Okay, that's a good
Actually, the most forgettable ones would be combat. Any
The ones
combat,
with
yeah,
combat.
The combat heavy
based, yeah,
ones.
because I prefer to be a story-based kind of player.
Oh, you're definitely that kind of player. I do identify that you're
Yeah.
a great story player.
Yeah, so I don't mind. It's like, oh, my character died once again. But if there's a narrative about it, it's like, oh, why did you die?
Yeah.
And how did you kill that guy? And
Okay.
yeah, it will definitely stick.
Is that why in our home games you're always throwing chaos into
Yeah,
making the enemy stronger?
Hell yeah.
God damn it.
Because you get the other players to deal with it.
Yeah. So like, oh yeah. I mean, that's a reason why they're like that.
Okay. So the easier question would be like, what's the best one?
The best one.
Okay, no wrong
I
answers here.
mean, I'm not gonna say any names because I don't want to get people to get hurt.
Okay. So it's
I'm right
definitely
here.
Not Muppets.
I'm right here, man.
Okay, but the ones that
Fall of Plaguestone. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Okay, yes.
but the ones best for me is a DM that can set up the atmosphere perfectly.
Ooh.
So anything that can give players a visual image about it, it's gonna be way up in my list at least.
So who's that?
I will not say any names.
Okay, let's
I'll say
take
some
an
names.
example.
I'll say some examples.
one of the best
In terms of
best ones
The
Yeah,
in the one
like
shot.
what's your like top 4 or top 5?
For the one shot, ooh, okay. The ones that I have the one I played in is the fourth would be the one at
You don't
the
have to
other-
rank it.
Oh, oh.
A random 4 in no particular order are.
Number 4.
Okay, number 4 it would be like the daughters of the sea because it was combat heavy, but because it was so heavily for combat, the narrative didn't actually sink its teeth in.
Okay.
So number 3 would be what's that?
These are your favorite ones.
Yes, it's up there.
Okay.
Number 3, what's that? The one with there's a snow. It was it's a module. It was an AL thing.
Oh, it's an AL thing.
Yeah,
So you're talking about Barovia.
Barovia. Yeah, it was
Oh,
near
Strahd.
Barovia.
So Curse of Strahd.
Curse of Strahd,
Yeah, or Curse of
So,
Strahd. Yeah.
Probably the second one, the monster, when they discovered the wolves.
Yep.
Oh, I love that
Alina's
too.
choker.
Oh
probably.
my gosh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I fell in love with that
Yeah.
one session. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
like-
set the tone.
I
for it.
bought art for that one session.
You bought art.
I have
Yeah,
bought arts multiple,
Yeah.
and I have no regrets at all.
It was nice because the atmosphere was nice.
Yeah.
I really love characters that is like morally questioning because you don't know which one is right and wrong. It's just a matter of
Oh
perspective.
my gosh. Again, as you're saying this, I realize a lot of the things that you do in our home game very much reflect this.
Yeah. And no, the second one, the one that the best one so far for the one shot here is the what's that? Actually, what's that? I forgot the name. It was
What was the premise?
it was during the. Can you name what was the one shots that I?
Oh, sure. I mean, I don't have the full list here, but Bombastic Bartles, Demiria, Muppets One Shot, Pages of Despair, Dead by Midnight, Low Crater, Daughter of the Sea.
I would just choose the bombastic one for the number one because there
Yeah.
was because
Double threat.
one of the Nadia, she did not use any stats. She says just improv
Yeah.
the whole way.
Yeah.
And of course the number one is actually our current home game because I think 1 year of playing a one shot kind of esque, I think it gives enough content.
Mm.
I know it's not one shot, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's on my list.
Thank you
Okay.
for that.
Yeah. So, Anas, you've only played a couple, right?
Yes.
You played a couple. You've played Daughter of the Sea.
Yes.
You made a friend and lost a friend,
Yes.
And-
That seems to be a recurring theme whenever
Yeah.
I play the one shots.
which was probably the only reason. Yeah, right. Daughter of the Sea was there. You played Death Mask.
Deathmatch Bank, yeah.
I don't know. Well, were you in any? Oh, right. The worst one shot in the world, which was run by me.
No.
The Battle
Hey.
Royale.
No, actually, I think that was somewhat memorable to me. Not because, again, not because of the combat, but I was actually just surprised. I created a throwaway rubbish character, and
You were second.
I was second. I have to admit that was amazing. And ever since then, I'm like, you know what? I really love Rangers. I'm gonna DM and justify Rangers. They are not a trash class. I will not make them.
People
be.
are just using them wrong.
Yeah.
I always tell people that when you play Ranger, you secretly want to be a rogue.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
True. True.
yeah,
I had a guy in my home game who played a Ranger. I think what you really wanted was a rogue.
you want that stuff.
Yeah. That kind of stuff. Like, do I get sneak attack damage? That's for a rogue.
That's a.
But can a Ranger get it? Stuff like that. Yeah, so you've been playing in a couple. So out of that, 3.
Well,
right?
here's the thing, like playing in them, I always enjoy playing in them since you get to roleplay, you get to do stupid stuff. But then watching them through Twitch and the YouTube the YouTube videos and stuff, I'm not there, sometimes to stream or to watch it directly.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed like watching the streams of Dread by Midnight and Fault in Our Stars is freaking stupid.
Yeah.
And
You guys still haven't seen part 3?
I have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and of course, Sora's 10 candles.
10 candles.
Oh man, because I think different ways of appreciating it because I DM, mostly, and so when I see how they do stuff, and I'm like, oh damn, I can't do that, but that's freaking awesome.
That's brilliant.
Like, I can say those examples you pointed out, probably the best storytelling.
Yeah.
Like, and I gotta give a shout out to Safi as well.
Oh,
Who
let's not forget, yes.
who
Yeah.
has the best lore for me. You know, I'm in love with this whole Riveria setting that he's made for himself. But going back to Farah, who shout out to Farah as well.
Happy New Year.
Two really good settings: Dead by Midnight setting, which is the guns and magic thing,
Yeah.
and of course the Fault in Our Stars, which became a 3-episode epic.
Fault in Our Stars.
Sorry.
That's
Stars That Guide Us. Stars That Guide. Sorry.
Yeah,
Fault,
Stars That
Fault
Guide
in Our
Us.
Stars is a terrible movie.
Oh,
But an okay book.
The opinions expressed in this podcast do not represent
Our
our group's entire opinions. They are just personal
But I
opinions.
do own Wild Magic, so.
It's just
So
a
share
joke
my
on
opinions
it.
or be cleansed.
Oh, yeah.
There is a misconception that I need to kind of put out there.
What?
I do not own its D&D group. Like, people are not expected to kind of like follow Wild Magic if you guys are part of the D&D group. Like, I feel like that's the assumption right there.
Meaning,
Like, because the administrators are from Wild Magic, they think that its D&D group is from Wild Magic as well.
oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, like one of the earlier things that you mentioned was that we've gotten a little bit bigger. Like last year, we got to find so many new players. Like Faiz, one of them players. The other day, I was the 31st, just waiting for like midnight. One of my cousins actually told me, it's like, oh hey, it's like Abanda, do you stream? I'm like, what? No. It's like, yeah, do you stream games? I was like, no. It's like, I don't stream games. I'm like, what do I look like, a Twitch streamer? Gamer? It's like, I don't do that. And it's like, no. Like my cousin says that, like he's seen you like stream before. I'm like, I have never streamed before. And I was so confused until he's like, oh, but he plays D&D and he saw you like play. And I was like, oh, the Twitch stream. And then, hey, look at that. He doesn't play with us. He knows we exist, but he never used to play D&D before, and now he does.
Yeah.
So there's more people out there, in Brunei who are actually taking it up.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool.
And the thing is, like, there are a lot, but it's just that they're kind of shy on
Yeah,
muting the.
yeah, I imagine, yeah. I think we might be intimidating,
We're not trying to stroke each other's pencils here, but the only reason why I ever tried to do two things, which was do the shop, do the channel,
Sure.
is to kind of like, it subserves D&D in Brunei. And I'm really glad that the shop's taking off at the rate it did, because people are coming up to me and saying, hey, I didn't know there was such a thing as a D&D shop in Brunei, and that was great. And well, I still haven't had the pleasure of anyone finding our Twitch streams or YouTube streams, but
No,
I'd like to.
it's among the younger crowd, man.
Oh, it's true.
It's
Like all this TikTok bullshit.
disgusting. Okay, boomer.
I should show you my account later, because no, seriously, what's gotten me into this whole TikTok thing?
Oh my
And-
gosh, dude. Okay, it's 2020. I know it's a new year, but don't show your age, pal. Come on, man.
It's
Don't show your age,
Like-
man.
Yeah, use your brand. Anyway.
Sure.
My favorite one shots, Muppets.
Really?
Hands down.
Is it because you got to make your little
Yes, because for me personally, it was the best performance I ever had as a player.
the best performance you had as a player was to play with puppets and become Grover? And okay,
and really do Druid well.
Yeah, okay. Admittedly, your druid was great, and Grover was fun to have at the table. Sure.
Yeah. So what else is there?
I had no point to that. I just wanted to sound sarcastic.
Oh,
The
okay.
thing is, you were so invested on becoming.
Yeah, you
Grover.
really with the hat.
With a hat,
yeah.
you have a miniature.
And
too.
the puppet thing, like literally,
Yeah.
just if you watch that stream again and you watch the moments where like you're reacting to my narration, you're literally using your puppet and just going like,
Yeah.
as a puppet. Now I for a moment there, like a while, we've got to do that again, but we have to do it in a way that we can hide our actual bodies. Because just paying attention to Grover, like your puppet, was great.
Yeah.
Oh, just get one of those black curtains. Just your hand just stick
Yeah,
around
exactly.
there.
Yeah, do like
I would totally
Potter
do that,
Puppet Pals, a Potter Puppet Pals, but for Wild Magic. I think that'd be funny.
Oh, wow.
Show idea right there.
Please
Please,
share.
please don't copy us.
Please.
Damn guys. Anyway, yeah, that was probably my favorite one. Other memorable ones, probably Death Mask as well.
Hey.
Death Mask was weird and funny, in a way. Like we had that one character who kept like rushing into everything.
Sometimes you
Yeah.
when you see the treasure in front of you, the shortest distance between A to B is to run through the
It's
tracks.
a straight line. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And your tumbleweed character.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that was pretty funny. Yeah, but again, I just look back at the ones that I've watched and the ones that I've played. Muppets is the best one that I've ever played in, and it is
Because you
in
have to be Grover.
yeah. Well, all credit to you because you told me to get the Grover Muppet,
Oh, yeah, but-
and that's
and that was-
just snowball.
That was
basically.
before I realized you didn't really know like Grover's character. You just knew the voice,
Yeah.
and then you just made it. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
Yeah, a lot of YouTube videos about him and as the waiter.
Ah.
Oh, great.
Started with the ham sandwich thing and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, do you think there's like a weird parallel between like Dungeons and Dragons and Sesame Street? Because where Sesame Street teaches you letters and stuff like that, we're like numbers. Yo, go ahead and roll this and add that. Yeah. No calculators, do the math.
I'm really surprised there was no count.
What?
There was no
Ah, there was supposed to be, but we're running out of time. Like I said, you know, with the one shots, you have a time limit.
time limit, right?
Yeah, and like literally at the end with the Loth character, the spidery lady. Yeah, she was supposed to have had like a familiar that was literally a count, but we didn't get to play that. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's limitations of one shot. So we do have a certain like time frame that you
Yeah.
have to work
Yeah.
on, and
But
usually
that's roughly true. So
like DMs like they have to work around those times because I do see some they kind of exceed that, and
Yeah, we always thought that was a good exercise for DMs anyway.
yeah, to
But
manage time.
you guys have brought out a good point, which brings us to probably to our next section about like what's worked and what hasn't worked in one shots. So time constraints is obviously something that you guys are worried about.
No, but in the defense of time constraints, although it may feel restricting to the players and the DM, I have to admit that anything longer than 5 hours tends to feel exhausting. We just had like our Sunday campaign that was quite long, and when just us as friends, it's not too bad if it's a long time because we can like manage each other okay. But when it's anything beyond 5 hours, it feels tedious, and that kind of affects the play somewhat. And I think the time scale, of 5 hours is pretty decent enough.
I'll bring the wild magic stats up right now.
Hey,
That the drop-off point for YouTubers for YouTube watches in our channel is 1 hour 21 minutes.
Ooh.
People will tend to just sign off after an hour 21 minutes of watching.
I mean, even I don't keep my YouTube on for like an hour and a half.
So I think that's a good point, and it's something that like I brought to for everyone to kind of like take a look at probably, because we were talking about like how we can improve the one shots format in general, like moving forward next time. But yeah, time constraint is always a bad thing.
maybe we should just call it bite-size one shots, and it's gonna be just 1 hour. And
Or-
then DM's gotta try to work.
Or
around
just play the one shot and then just set the recordings at like 1 hour pieces.
Some people were talking about maybe just pre-recording one shots, like 1 hour one shots and stuff like that.
Oh, that would give so much more flexibility. But then you wouldn't stream it.
It would just be pre-recorded and
Yeah.
streamed on live.
Yeah.
Why don't we just put it on YouTube straight away, right? Like, and kind of like Stars that guide us. Stars that guide
Go
us.
ahead.
Was good because that was the first time I suggested to anyone that you could make it a two-parter, but it ended up being a three-parter and stuff like that.
Are you discounting your own session?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Weirder
Yeah,
Things.
Weirder Things,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was a two-parter.
it
We're
wasn't
still
meant
waiting
to
for a third.
be. Oh really?
Yeah.
But you're gonna be the bad guy.
Exactly.
One more episode.
But they would know that.
Oh, that's true. I was thinking about rerunning it for
Ooh.
different.
Oh
party.
yeah, I think everybody would have fun with that. I mean,
Yeah.
anyone who's a fan of Stranger Things and that kind of thing.
Ooh,
I think
yeah,
people again, the thing you hear the
Oh.
most is people
Wait.
hear
Everyone is
D&D.
John's my favorite.
Yeah. John.
Everyone was
It's
John.
me.
It was
John.
dark.
It's John. Yeah.
It was dark, but it was
Yeah.
fun playing.
You know, I was toying around. I was telling people like if I ever have made a sequel for it, it would
Yeah.
be called Everyone Loves John. John would wake up one day and just find out everyone is in love with him,
Then you have
and
to
everyone's just pining for him and just like goes crazy for him.
Oh. So they
So
they
what
have
would
this
the-
paparazzi. Like
What would the
gonna
objective be?
I don't know.
Run away
survive?
from a
Well,
horse?
just use
Just
just use
survive?
like the rule set, same rule sets, and have like your own what do you got goal for the day kind of thing, but you are constantly being like
harassed by
impeded
this
by-
fans.
crazy
Oh.
amounts of people.
Okay, okay. How about like that scenario, but with the that scenario, everybody loves John, but with the added caveat of that monster from It Follows,
There you
the AIDS monster. So
Yeah.
like everybody loves him, but like one of them is like a creature that will kill him,
Oh.
and he'll act like everybody else.
Yeah.
So you're like,
That-
are you real?
Act-
Are you a monster?
Like, do you guys remember how it ended? Like, he got assassinated.
Yeah, he got assassinated.
But you know, he gets revived by a secret military base,
Oh god.
and he has to escape it because everyone's in love with him for some reason.
Oh god.
That'd be amazing.
Actually, like, I wanted to put that in my one shot, in the
Oh.
future one shot. I will. It's a plan. I'm hoping the future players that's gonna play it, not gonna watch this. But imagine a town, but that's one of the doppelganger. That
Okay.
It's out to kill you, and if you can't save enough NPCs,
Doppelganger one shot.
yeah, then they'll die. And I followed Yura's technique. He set a real timer, not in-game timer,
Oh god.
but a real timer.
Ugh.
So if you can't solve it within the next hour or two,
Yeah.
you lose.
Yeah, I remember that. That's a brave move because I would not be brave enough to try that out. I am too scared that, oh shit, what if I can't narrate through this? Oh no.
Yeah, it's like, what's your opinion on like DM like use like real time?
I think it's unrealistic, but I think it's interesting
It adds tension to the
Yeah.
table.
because yeah, it gives you that ability. Because if you're like, we talked about LARP like last episode,
Mhm.
and like how LARPing would require you to do everything in real time, as opposed to doing checks to deliberate and this and this. So I think it adds a dimension of reality, but also unrealistic, because sometimes tabletop exercises require a bit of
Leeway, like just people want that time. Yeah.
So if you plan on doing something for half an hour, maybe give them the option to pause it for like a minute or something. Something like that. Maybe. I am not going to tell you how to run.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm a terrible DM.
Figure out what.
No, I know.
I'm a great storyteller, but I'm a terrible DM. Oh, two things I'm not, by the way.
Moving on back to one shots.
Yeah, don't stop talking.
Okay, right. So the one shots, right? I realized that some like as usual, there's combat based and narrative based, right?
Yeah.
I found out that most narrative is that they kind of explain differently. Some of the DMs, they explain their characters through actions. Be like, oh, he is doing this and he's saying this. But other DMs be like, oh, the atmosphere is. It's like this. It's raining. Blah blah blah. Then they work to the setting of
That's just a style thing.
the style thing, right?
Like, you will realize people who follow modules will have a tendency to describe things less. They will have a tendency to roleplay less, as a matter of fact. But for people who start with homebrew and just swear by homebrew, they'd love the theatrics of it. They'd love to just like act it up, stuff like that.
That is kind of true
Yeah.
because I had experience with both DMs, so what you say is really really true.
Which one am I?
Well, you're the homebrew one,
Yeah.
obviously.
Oh, really? I thought
Yeah.
I was more of a module-based one.
Have you? Oh,
No,
okay.
it's gonna be like you're the lab.
Mm.
The lab.
I'll point examples. Because Farah is a homebrew,
Ooh, that's true.
and she loves the theatrics. She loves
Yeah.
the descriptions of it.
Oh yeah.
Like that,
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that by, like midnight. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly it.
Yeah, that's you definitely see like her
Right.
definite style there.
Yeah.
Like when we were talking about the whole like potential like work on our settings, the wild magic settings. Oh man, the ideas she started giving in, I was like, wow, I never would have thought it like that. Damn, I was like, this is way more interesting than I initially thought. I must not be good, must not be creative enough.
Yeah, about that, we were talking about making like a campaign setting for like loosely based on Brunei, loosely based on the region.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's interesting. So,
Yeah.
any basic ideas that you have so far?
Well, first of all, we kind of have to kind of like step around what will probably not get into the campaign because everyone is like putting in so many ideas and like,
Yeah, I was surprised.
whoa, please, we don't want to touch on this. We don't want to touch on this.
Yeah.
Like, how sensitive are we about the Pignerans? Or how sensitive are we about
the
royal
title?
family?
Yeah, again, my goodness. Initially, when I heard of that, I was like, oh, okay, so it's gonna be like one of these like simple campaigns or whatever.
Yeah.
Like in our home games, like amongst me and my brother, we tend to joke that like Chult in the Faerun setting is kind of like Brunei because there's like a dude in there whose name is what was it? Suleiman or something.
Yeah, it's a very Malay.
Yeah,
name. It's a very
and some
Malay
of
name.
the like deity pantheons are also Malay names. And so we would joke that, oh yeah, Chult is Brunei. And so in my head, the whole Brunei setting thing wouldn't have been very interesting. But oh, how wrong was I when everybody started giving those
Yeah,
ideas.
it's
There's so many
amazing.
things that Wizards writers have no idea about Borneo. Like, things that we can easily put in there, like monsters and dragons.
I bought
and
the book.
spiritual creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought the book.
Yeah.
I
It's
read
an
it. I'm like,
actual-
oh, damn, this is really interesting. I was like, oh, I live here.
There's an actual lore on
Yeah.
That's
on
awesome.
like fantasy.
Because we were talking about it here in Wild Magic, and we were talking about how like it would be interesting if it was during the time period of the Brooks,
Oof. Ooh, that would be
because it was a
fun.
time
Yeah.
where the Empire was falling.
Oof.
So it's an amazing setting, right? That's the
Oof.
best part to do it. Not when the Empire was rising or at the height of the Empire, when it's falling.
Oh my God.
Because there's traitorous like
People.
and
I
stuff
mean,
like that, you know?
questionable,
Ouch.
questionable leaders.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
questionable
like-
leaders and stuff.
And then if you give them a good motive to why did they do it,
Yeah.
that would put extra spice in
Yeah.
that story. Yeah.
And you know what did the Brooks do that was so like intimidating? Did they have like a flying dragon? Did they have a flying dragon fortress, or did they
Or was Brooke himself like
an
like
actual dragon?
No, not an actual dragon, but was he pacted to like a devil or something who taught him how to?
Ah.
Yeah.
It's called the British Empire.
And then that's why. Oh,
Again, the opinions that have been expressed in this podcast do
Is
not
mine and
necessarily
mine alone.
reflect. Yeah.
does
Okay.
not reflect the brand.
Disclaimer.
Please.
It's not even an hour yet.
Oh God! Oh no! Oh no!
No, it should be alright. But yeah,
But yeah,
it's a really good setting. Like,
it would be great one day if we could actually complete this book. We can run like an AL like thing.
Ooh,
Like a bunch
our
of
own.
things. Yeah.
a
Can we
written
please use a certain other setting for some of the mechanics?
mechanics.
I mean, I don't care about the mechanic.
Excellent. All right. Okay. He's
Just do
agreed.
it.
This is an agreement. He has agreed to this.
Guys, you can check out Pathfinder here at Wild Magic if you want to,
Yes.
but
Please do. It's fun.
It's
But you're not allowed to buy it. It's censored and stuff. Oh, if you haven't checked, I've actually like redacted most of it.
like
Wow.
this, you know, this is not 5e.
So
this
if
is
I
not
if I
5e.
if I open that
This sounds a little extra.
But yeah, it would be good. It's a good idea if we were to run at least a one shot on a Brunei setting, and if it's
test
like,
it out, yeah.
and for example, if they chose another language, it would be like, you gotta speak that in Malay, please.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Ooh, that's
Alright.
awesome.
Like,
Yeah.
And then you could probably like include all the like local languages
Yo.
as well.
If that was the case and the level of language actually mattered in the campaign,
Yeah.
I think that would be a much better motivation for me to actually learn Malay than anything else.
Yeah.
I'd have to admit, yeah.
What about this? Like,
Utamakan bahasa Melayu,
like-
yeah, in D&D.
like you gotta start with the language that you know in real life also. It's like if you know Chinese or like Tagalog, right?
Yeah.
And then if for some
Oh,
reason
no.
the DM is a polyglot.
do I work for Brooke? Because I only speak English. Oh no.
Oh no.
You work as a translator, I guess.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but locals will kill you because you speak English.
Oh.
The devil's language.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, wait, disclaimer, none of the
Which
the
one is
views
common?
expressed-
Is it English or Malay?
Malay. It would be Malay. Okay. Maybe because we maybe let's try out Malay. Perhaps
yeah.
that it could, people will be like, oh no, bahu tak ko paham. That kind of
Oh.
feel.
Yeah, and on the subject of like different people knowing different things, because in Call of Cthulhu, which I really really hope that Farah or Sora will run one day, because it's just so perfect for them. Because what their thing is, instead of just a class or something, they have different roles like an engineer, an investigator, that
yeah.
kind of thing. And so like maybe you could introduce that as like a class in the setting. Yeah. So you'd have Brookite, you'd have Pengiran, or you'd have Ketua Kampung.
like backgrounds and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I think that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
totally something that we want to take a
I
look
think
at.
we can loosely base an actual model. We can actually write one up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anybody's interested.
But again, none of us are historians, I don't think, and none of
No,
us are
we're not.
official historians.
Yeah, which for me shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter because we're not trying to be historically accurate.
Okay.
We're trying to loosely base on it, and the looser the better because
What will we call it then? We can't call it
we
Brunei.
can't call it pony either.
That's a bit too on the
On
nose.
the nose. Yeah.
How about, because you are gonna set it on the fall,
Mm.
so something so generic and maybe eye-catching enough too, so people could be like,
Yeah.
who's
poor,
interested in homebrew, like, hey,
Again, we'll
I'm
li-
gonna pick it up.
poor
yeah,
man Singapore.
poor man Singapura. But again, like that's something that even again people smarter than us or more creative
Yeah,
ones can
totally.
probably like comment and figure out a name.
What sort of race would Bruneian be?
Oh.
I was thinking gnome because
Actually,
gnomes don't get a lot of.
I would-
slang.
I think halfling.
halfling.
Halflings.
Yeah, because passive. Just have we're happy as
Yeah, we're
what
happy in our
We were
little
never
hills.
that passive, if you think about it,
No.
because we were an empire.
was. So right now,
Yeah.
what's the saying
But
like strong
halflings
man.
never had a history of having an empire.
No, because the thing is, they didn't have an empire because they didn't need it,
Yeah.
and they found no need for it. So how about have most of the population be halfling and the other half human?
Ah,
Because
so like the Tutong guys are.
yeah, no, because but how I see it is like maybe it's like
The level of
maybe after at
racism.
the height of power, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's too much of a hassle to take care of all these people. I'll just shrink down and be content with this amount of people, and everybody is in the right order in life.
Okay, so that'd be an interesting.
So people will be like, yeah. Oh yeah, people say it's unfair, but everybody has their place in the system.
Yeah.
It's a very enclosed system.
Again, it's not written yet, so
Yeah.
like all these ideas would be
Yeah,
great.
so the other like the DMs and the people that contributed to the one shot
Oh,
ideas,
yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah,
it was so good. I'm like,
yeah, they're so clever. Honestly, we should let everybody like once we have like a draft or something that we can run.
Yeah.
The DMs that have their ideas could try doing a one shot on their ideas, or like, oh, you take a kampong
This,
tangkap or
the-
something,
Yeah.
and then try out your campaign and
I think as long as we have like the overarching like
no.
background of
yeah.
it and the narrative maybe, then you can just like okay, you take Mangis and I'll take like Jurdo and you'll take whatever.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
But yeah, I think it's something that we will definitely take a look at in the future. I think for those of you who are interested in joining the write-up session, we're trying to do one on the 12th of January. Possibly, if you have any ideas, please come with your ideas, your pens and pencils. But we do have a decorum. We want to try and make sure everything's organized, and we want to make sure we don't shit on people's crowns.
Yeah. We'll try to compromise with clashing ideas because different artists they tend to clash and hopefully nothing bad.
Hey,
will
that's
happen.
part of the fun.
Yeah.
We had an idea about one shots, going back to one shots before, about how we can probably change the format a little bit. And have you guys ever seen like Mad Lib Theater by Jimmy Fallon? It's basically like he'll have a guest on, and then he'll like ask like random questions like name of your first dog or something that you ate this weekend.
Okay.
And then they would put all those random words into a script.
Okay.
So you'd sneak in those words into a script. So the name of your first dog, and so your first dog is Petunia, and so hello Petunia because you are now Petunia, that kind of thing. So I had an idea of like, man, it would be great and interactive if we kind of had like this thing where we had a Mad Lib D&D.
A Mad Lib D&D.
Yeah. So we'd have like crowd suggestions on like just random things. They wouldn't even know where it's gonna like end up. But it's up to the DM to kind of like put in.
Super
Oh my
improv.
gosh,
Oh my god.
That's improv on the level of the DM.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
It would be great practice for DMs,
Ooh.
and we can even do it as a short format because we can't possibly make a 3-hour one
Okay,
shot
true.
with the Mad Libs.
No, that's
Yowza.
interesting. No, that could be fitted into like a half an hour kind of session.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
That would be amazing, right? Just make one encounter. Like, okay, so the DM says, okay, I want to make a tavern encounter setting. So
Audience.
you
what
put
should
out,
blah, blah, blah.
put out some questions. Name of your first dog. This one. And okay, so the dog will be the bartender. The MacGuffin will be what you ate last week. Stuff like that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
really challenging.
I thought that would be something like really cool to do.
That'll be fun.
I
Oh,
can- The challenge. Oh gosh.
Perfect for people like us.
Okay. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
2020. Yes. New us.
Yeah,
new.
we need to have better vision.
Sure. Yes.
Bite-sized content is pretty.
Yeah.
People could like really you could digest that really well. Then.
Yeah, speaking of 2020, moving ahead, we still have a few one-shots that are lined up right now. This week we are going with a Wafi who is doing a Fiasco RPG. If you guys don't know what Fiasco is, it's basically a out-of-the-box set RPG. You only need a D6. It's basically like what's that other game that uses D6? It's basically one of those like
Warhammer.
something is gonna go wrong kind of thing.
So
Oh.
everyone is John.
Sure. Yeah, something like everyone's John, but a lot less chaotic, I think.
There's no such thing in D&D.
I suppose not. No.
That is good.
And next week we do have Nas from Brouhaha who's going to be coming in.
Yeah.
He's going to be doing a pet store one shot.
pet store one shot.
Yeah. So I'll,
So
I'll-
like are you the pets in the store or are you?
people keep asking me that. That's the first thing they say. Are you pets in the store? No.
Like, the objective is that you have to be adopted.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like Madagascar kind of thing. The penguins, you gotta escape.
Escape the
yeah,
pet store? Is that it?
No, I don't know.
Unless you have to
I mean,
manage.
you'll
the
find
pets.
out tomorrow.
Hey.
Oh wait, you'll find
alright.
out Wednesday.
I'll find Wednesday.
Because that's when I usually put out those sign-ups anyway.
Okay, noted.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. What from what I think could happen. Probably by next February, you're gonna see probably a more shorter, better looking type of one shots, a bit more absorbable. I
Mm.
think if that's a
Hopefully.
word.
So content.
Yeah, content wise,
Content-wise,
we are kind of trying to push Wild Magic towards YouTube. Kind of put like more content, maybe relatable for Bruneians or maybe for people in the region. I think someone announced, not us, someone announced that we were gonna do a painting show. Yeah, it's basically talk about painting, talk about your lives. We're gonna start painting with each other.
Oh wait, do you mean for the minis? Like you mean
Yeah,
the
yeah,
mystic
We're gonna
minis
paint
and the
minis.
kitchen
We're not gonna paint
models?
portraits. We're not Bob Ross.
It's like, so today we'll be drawing a lovely little tiefling here.
But if it'll get us views, we'll probably try.
Happily little tieflings.
Dab.
Just dab. It's all right. They can have freckles. That's fine.
And yeah, we might do that. We have a painting show that will probably come around sometime this month. It's called Work in Progress.
Oh, I saw that ad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that
because what they will always be painting something that is in progress. It's never started. It's never finished. It's always in progress. Yeah. So that's one of our shows. We're gonna do a How to D&D series probably. We're gonna bring a few new faces in, and maybe we can probably have celebrity D&D for Brunei.
too.
You never know.
Do a How to D&D series.
Oh, that was so many.
I mean, like, I always keep telling people, oh yeah, just watch Joe Cat's short bite ones
Joe
or
Cat's.
XP to level 3.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're so
yeah,
easily.
yeah. It's like digestible.
Yeah, it's
I
digestible.
always watch Davy Chap.
Oh, Davy Chappie. Yeah. If you want a lot of lore and stuff like that.
Well, now you can watch a Bruneian explain it to you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Woo!
Yeah,
All right,
so
that's a lot of.
hopefully we can get to that level.
Yeah.
So,
Hopefully, we're going to promise a bit more content. Something that's I'm really excited for is Find Me Dimitri.
Yeah.
where in the
Thank
world
you
is
for
Dimitri.
adding the pressure into that.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely happening now, right?
You know, people. You know, if you're catering to local content, I don't think many people here watch Dimitri's and they don't think they watch like
Carmen
Carmen
Sandiego.
Sandiego. Yeah.
Yeah, but so this will be your first foray into Catch Me If You Can kind of TV series.
it's just like finding walls.
You know how hard that is to do in D&D?
Oh yeah, with people with abilities and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Usually you can say, oh, she got a magical
Yeah,
item
but
for
then
that.
it's so
Stop it.
meta. So it's like, oh, of course we're never gonna be able to catch her. But I had to make it realistic enough that, oh crap, okay, we can catch her
Unless you use stuff.
unless you use. Can I do that from now on in the future? Just use Pathfinder systems.
Because it's easier to max out on a certain aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
But then
He
yeah,
said that. He said
yeah,
it. I didn't say it. I want to live.
It's like you're just trying to break the game. What the hell,
Oh yeah, that's true. That's
Okay,
true.
we're not gonna.
We're gonna
fight.
get no, we're gonna delve into
2020
that.
I
is a
didn't
new
start
year.
that. I didn't start that.
We're gonna respect each other. We're gonna love each other.
Yeah.
Yes, SRD 20
I love
system
you.
or
Twi-
Pathfinder system alike. Everyone is equal.
Best one-shot character
Ooh. Oh, okay.
ever. Like not just including yourselves, but like other characters you found,
Characters, huh? Okay. Hold on.
excluding Grover, because I don't need that kind of ego in my life.
I mean, I was absolutely gonna pick him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna pick him because I want to survive tonight.
It's the
that-
Hyundai,
Oh, that's
right?
I will not. It's like the other one.
Okay, hold on.
Huh.
That's it's a tough one.
A lot of
because-
standouts for me, unfortunately. Nas's character in Stars That Guide Us was a standout character for me. Because he had this one role-play moment that changed the entire face of the story.
Yeah.
Like, there was one moment where, because he's like a paladin who's like sort of trying to like convert people, and at one point they were at a campfire, and the person of interest, the girl that they were trying to protect, they had a moment where he tried to convert her
Yep.
and say like, you should join us, and that actually changed the face of it. Because if you guys didn't know, in the second episode, he could have turned evil.
Yeah.
He could have been the big bad. So it was a huge character moment for him. So that was probably the standout one as of recent memory for me.
Great for the players,
Yeah.
a nightmare for the DMs.
But always for the greater good for the story.
I'm sure Farah enjoyed that a lot, actually.
It's,
I'm not great with change.
I mean, it's the DM side, right? Because like
Yeah.
you said, I want my plot to be like this.
It's like I have an idea of what will happen, and I'll just tell this story. I mean, no one's gonna do anything with and now he's now you okay, yeah.
The story, like characters, like people have their moments, right?
Yeah, they
Like
do.
all of them have moments, but so far, the ones that stick to me, I can't remember anything because like haven't had that like
Moment,
like I gotta I'm remember you.
I want that moment for Vlad, you know? Vlad is my 1-2 character for one-shots as well.
Okay.
So, like, setting aside the whole, you know...
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't make this weird, man. Don't make this weird.
We'll use the general term of it.
And
yeah?
Yeah. Well, he's had girl troubles in the past.
Ah, so-
And somehow it became a running thing, by the way. He ended up... in Safi's one-shots is where he featured the most. A girl... Well, the girl that they were supposed to save ended up betraying them, and that became like, okay, this feels a little bit familiar.
Again, none of your characters are immediately reflective of your own problems or issues you might be having as a person.
Yeah,
It's just for the sake of the game.
We're
Yes?
functioning human
We are functioning
beings in
human
society.
beings that do not have to roleplay our insecurities and such inside our characters.
I'm married.
yeah. See, he definitely didn't have woman. He
That's
got
an
a
imaginary
baby.
D&D ring.
You've got a baby. You know, absolutely nothing to do with your character.
Yeah.
It's completely separate.
It's,
Absolutely. Let's not go all Freudian. You know, with
Of course not.
Like love one shots.
I'll wake up one day and just like scream out her name. Like, girl, I'm not supposed to mention. Oh. Anyway,
Like kind.
I save all her art. Anyway.
I should have never shared those.
Oh my
you,
god, yeah.
Hey, of all
To you,
people,
of all
you shared it
people.
to me, right?
Yeah. It's,
Should have known better.
I know. Oh my gosh. It was a slip. I was excited. I was like, "Oh, cool! This is sweet." So just to share it. And-
Okay. Best character of the year, not including one shots. Best character that you've played or best character that you've seen.
Oh, that's because again, different player and I mostly DM. A lot of my recurring characters I enjoy seeing at the table.
Yeah.
I mean, running jokes are definitely the thing that makes you like, okay, I know how this character is.
Uh-huh,
Like
yeah,
it's easy to narrate for this character.
you know the
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's an in joke. I think it's one of the you have so many in jokes that you're like, okay, it's easy to in joke with
Yeah.
this. So like for example, Dane's Sailor Moon character.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I can't help but like it's like okay at first like okay everyone wants to be this edgelord serious character. Sure, no
Yeah.
problem. There's a bunch of devils. You're fine. And suddenly Sailor Moon and I'm like, shit, the setting actually.
You have
matches
Ada to thank for that,
Yeah.
and
Someone-
and me.
Because you
Mostly Ada.
mentioned
Mostly
it.
Ada.
He went from I will serve the moon as like a cleric of the moon to I'm a girl now. I'm Sailor Moon.
I think
Yes.
you gave him a magical weapon, right? You gave him a
I
magical weapon.
I didn't. No, you did.
No, should I join?
Yeah,
It was
don't worry.
it was inside Curse of Strahd where he played a paladin and he was a male.
Yeah.
But I gave him like a special helmet and then put a candle on it and just gave him a magic weapon, blessed his weapon,
Yep.
and it shines.
It's
So
the-
he
It's
just
the
always
one.
so he would always look pretty.
again, it's those kind of vagueness when it comes to this D&D narrative that
And-
you just come up with stuff like that.
And the thing is, the thing that also helps because the community it's close enough that people kind of get like I know what you guys are talking
Like,
about.
oh, I know that reference.
I know that
Yes,
reference
I
at
get
least.
that.
Like, so it kind of in terms of level of which one is good. I think
Yeah.
everybody has their fair share.
Like it's really too bad, and I think Brunei's probably the only one who did this. That even though it was an Adventures League, I think there was so much backstory was fleshed out in that campaign.
In which campaign?
Strahd.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
But
I
it's
mean,
not.
there was one for you. There was for Edgelord turned into Magical Girl.
Yeah, no, because it was Strados. I'm again so happy that we ended up choosing Strahd as that campaign to play through, because that season was just so great to play through.
Yeah, it's definitely story heavy.
It's story heavy.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like morality moments. The people you hated, you really hated,
Yeah.
and you really wanted to see not just like what you needed to scare, but wanted to see, how else can we help this village, or find the lady who's doing the heebie-jeebies with all these other guys. Grand.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
Oh yeah, and yeah, the grand people going crazy and everyone trying to save them, but they're like smacking their heads on like nails and stuff like that. Oh yeah,
The
that's
hero
good
of
stuff.
the multiverse, Grand.
Hero of the multiverse Grand. Yeah.
There you go.
It was
I
definitely.
can hear her right now.
Yep, that's Grand. The one PC that will not haunt my nightmares.
I need to mention my best player, Vivi.
Oh.
Vivi is hands down my best player.
Huh.
In
Yeah.
the both times that he
Uh-huh.
played in my one shots for weirder things and for everyone is John.
It was amazing. Yeah.
Hands down. I mean, probably, yeah, because you would think Vivi would be the kind of person that needs to kind of shine with her sister.
Yeah.
But I think even without Hazel in the picture,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like she got on her own.
Yeah. I mean,
Character. It's like her character.
she didn't have that kind of resistance to role playing, which a lot of like new players at the table they tend to have.
Yeah.
They either want to play like the stereotype that they have is like, oh, I created a character that's like The Witcher, so I'm gonna be like The Witcher.
Oh,
But then
the-
in her case, it's like, okay, yeah, this you gave me a character that's a little bit cowardly, but yeah, I know how to be cowardly, and she just played it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah,
That's hard to do.
That's hard to do.
That's hard to
yeah,
do.
to just jump into there and like actually give it real feeling.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was great.
Like
The moment she's like freaking out, it's like, oh, there's a clown in the window. And she's like, oh, there's a creepy clown just watching me. And I'm like, oh, I feel you. He called me little boy. I'm like, it's okay. We'll get him.
So nice.
It was great. Yeah, that was
it
great.
was so fun to just scare her. And, like,
Yeah.
Because like as a DM, you're just feeding off of that fear.
Yeah, and yeah, you definitely if you're the DM for a character like that or for a player like that, you know like, okay, like I can try this, because DMing is a lot of dialogue between you and the player at certain times, right?
Yeah.
And so if you know how to push like a character like a player to improv their character, and you do it without really thinking, you're just like, okay, I know. It's like, okay, oh, let's tease her, and she responds to that in kind.
Yeah.
It's such a great dialogue, and it just makes for a great story. It really does.
Plus the picture inside your head, like I think I'm assuming the DM has a clearer image of the whole setting compared to
Sure.
the players, right? And then that's why small reactions from the player also like.
Actually, the thing about me is that I paint a small picture and I let everyone else fill in the blanks. Because so when people say like, oh, is it like this, like this, like this? Sure. That's why I do that. Because then they will have a clearer picture and they will be able to role play it better.
Let the players do the work.
I don't want to be insistent on my vision of what it was supposed to
Oh,
be.
I am the opposite spectrum. I tend to over-explain because I'm not sure whether what I'm saying is coming across.
Because that's my fear. Because if I'm saying something that's not coming across,
Yeah,
then they're just gonna get confused.
true. Yeah.
So I try to be a little bit flexible in that manner. But if things I need to make sure that are there, they're there.
Again, that's why we have the minis, the figures, the visuals.
But yeah, VV best player. They're all great, by the way. I haven't had probably a bad player in any of my games or any of the one shots. They've tried their best, even in front of camera. They just forgot about the
Yeah,
camera.
yeah. I think
After a while,
once
yeah.
if you're brave enough to head over here,
Yeah.
then you must be ready to like play. And knowing that we stream it is like, oh, and we're still willing to be here, I think they're ready to play.
Yeah. Just a little shout out to Ada as well. I'm really still shipping for Ithania to still stay with. What was his name? Was it John? No, it's not John. It's not John in there, was it? Was it John? John?
There was a lot of Johns.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like the name John.
It's just an easy name, you know.
John, is it because of we have a local food? That is
Roti John.
Oh.
What was it, Josh?
Oh, that
John.
could be that could be a backstory for the Brunei setting. We have a local delicacy known as
A chef.
roti John
a
because
NPC chef nickname John.
No, I was thinking more of a local delicacy named Roti John because in the past it was made of an actual guy named John.
Oh, okay, that's a bit.
Yeah,
There's
you know,
Brooke
as
there
an example
as
to-
example of
yeah.
their divide
You
between
know
the
what?
locals and
It
the.
was probably John Brooke.
Oh, so that's why it's a revenge thing, huh?
That's
Oh, yeah. That's a part of a module. I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cannibalism? Yeah. Oh, we have headhunters here, so that could be part of it too.
There you go. Well, to close it all off, have you guys seen Star Wars?
You know
Yeah.
we did.
Oh, yeah.
You know we did.
Yeah.
We were in the row in front of you.
Yeah.
In front of your then pregnant wife
Yeah.
that literally after the movie just went to the
So
bathroom
this
and
is this is the point where I like start like spouting out weird stuff.
Oh yeah.
So
again, let's not make the same mistake we did on radio.
Mhm.
Just
no vagina talk.
no vagina talk. Yes.
Cheers.
No
deers.
clams, no sausages.
Yeah, none of that. None of
Okay.
that.
Well, my wife was pregnant at the time, and on the day I told her like I can watch Star Wars after the baby's born, and she said no, I want to watch it too.
Yeah, that's
So we went to a doctor's appointment, and basically she was inspected, and she said probably not for another week, but maybe today.
Oh gosh.
And we said that's ridiculous. It's probably not going to happen. So we bought
Oh
the
my
tickets. We bought the
Oh
tickets,
gosh.
and as I bought the ticket, I went down back to the car where she sat, and she said, "I think it might be coming out today."
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you literally told me like as we were heading up to the theater. He's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I think her water broke, and I was like, funny
I was
joke.
like,
And actually, seriously, if I tap on your shoulder, lift your foot, and just in case the water flows out.
I'm
Oh.
sure the people who had to clean up,
Yeah.
they will be very surprised. Like, what the?
Yeah.
This is weird smelling
Like
soda.
we were joking with each other. We were telling people like, yeah, because we don't want to watch it at home. So let's go somewhere public so that if there's a mess, we can just leave it here.
Mm.
Stuff like that. And
You're a monster.
And
We're not gonna mention the theater, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no name.
names, no names,
name of the theater.
no names.
but it was in QLab. Anyway,
Oh come on! Oh my dude! Why? Again, apologies to the
The
people and any of those people.
yeah.
We very much appreciate the work you do.
Yes,
we watch Star
all our
Wars.
reviews are not yours.
Yes.
But if that smell,
Stop.
okay, it's not cleaning agent.
They know
Anyway,
our faces.
They faces.
but yeah, my wife did
Okay,
give birth on the day,
Huh.
and my wife gave birth to a Star Wars baby.
Yeah, Force baby.
Yeah, it's a Force baby.
Yeah.
It was forced out.
Strike two.
Did you
set me up.
That's a strike two, right?
Did you
That's a strike
actually
two, right?
like set it up?
Give me a call. Is that a strike two?
Hard to say.
Yeah,
Fine, it's safe.
you set me up.
Oh, that was.
That was easily a ball. And baseball joke. Well, guys, thanks very much for coming. If you guys want to know more about Wild Magic Store, head over to IG at wildmagic.store. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. Did you guys know we're on Twitter? We are on Twitter. We have
Yeah.
a Discord. That doesn't exist anymore. Or does it?
It still exists.
It's still alive.
It's
We
not.
got Discord, guys. We might be on Mixer soon as well, since Twitch sucks. But please catch some more one-shots on YouTube, and I'll see you guys next time.
Yes. Watch all the old episodes for the references used here.
Yeah.
Yes,
We should timestamp like different parts and like please.
Oh,
refer
that's a
to-
lot of work.
I know, right?
Oh, don't worry. We got Finn and Foot now. So.
Oh no, you can
Oh,
just
I'm
link
so
them.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry for suggesting. Oh, yeah, okay.
Is that a finger or a thumbs up? There we go.
Okay, so something
Okay.
That's a
Okay.
very big thumb.
Take it as you will.
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks very much for watching. There you go.
What?
Good night.